Let's Uncommon Fossil of the Day, presenting an updated Snorlax Stall deck. I don't remember the exact changes I made. I haven't been tracking them, but obviously trying to make the deck more consistent and a little tougher on the opponent. A couple of things. I cut the Radiant Serena. The healing wasn't getting enough value. I think I added a third basic energy. I think I added a fourth Pokemon Catcher, just trying to get a little more gust in the deck. Those are some of the moves I made, but I'll just go through the whole 60 briefly because obviously it is a set work together, and I know there's some other changes that I'm forgetting. So the heart of the Snorlax Stall deck is the Snorlax from Pokemon Go, 150 HP basic. It can attack for 4 energy, but we only play 3 energy, so we're not attacking with it, right? It's just here for the block ability. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon can't retreat. So it's a stall deck. We're looking to get gust up Pokemon on our opponent that can't attack, and then deck them out. It's the basic strategy. To deck them out, we are infinite. We play Pidgeot V. It's here for the Vanishing Wings ability. Once during a turn, if this Pokemon's on your bench, you may shuffle it and all attached cards into your deck. So a very easy way to make your deck infinite. If your last card in deck is Pidgeot V, you draw it, you bench it, you shuffle it back, you put it back on the deck. It would then be the only card in deck if it's the last card, and you just repeat that while your opponent can't attack. That's the situation we're looking to get to. What else do we have to kind of help get the game done faster? We do play Crabominable V. For the first attack here, trigger Avalanche. You're only going to use this late in the game when your opponent can't attack anymore, usually because we're not looking up to give prize cards away, and this is a 2-prizer. So, usually two prizers get difficult for us. That's how we lose the game. So, but trigger Avalanche for 1 water. You discard the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. So a nice mill attack, 1 water energy. That's good. And the water energy also helps set up the Manaphy's attack as well. With the Pulling Currents attack is the one we utilize on the baby Manaphy. Your opponent reveals their hand. You put 2 basic Pokemon you find there onto your opponent's bench. So get some Pokemon into play that your opponent doesn't want to bench, right? Because the way you beat Stall is you don't overbench Pokemon. Look, even if you don't like to play Stall, just remember that when you go up against Stall decks, don't overbench. That gets you in trouble. But so if our opponent knows what to do, hey, the Pokemon have to go in the deck, but eventually they'll come out of the deck. If it's in the hand, we can bench it with Manaphy, and then we play Echoing Horn if it's in the discard pile. So we have ways to get those Pokemon into play. Opponent doesn't want, that's important. We also play Mimikyu, 70 HP, another little walling Pokemon here. Safeguard prevents all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's EX and V Pokemon. So all of the multi-prize Pokemon, it's immune to damage from. Useful there. We don't play Psychic Energy, so we're not attacking, but it's just a walling thing. Pretty much every deck has something to get around this, but it's a way to buy a few turns. And of course, if we're gusting things up and make our opponent's life difficult, then we can gust up a V or an EX that can't damage us. So just another way to control the game. And then Rotom V, our third of the multi-prize Pokemon. We just play 1 copy of this. It's here for instant charge ability. Once during your turn, you may draw 3 cards. If you use this ability, your turn ends because we're not attacking, really, most of the time. Occasionally with Manaphy, occasionally with Crabominable V, but most of the time, we're just leaving Snorlax in the active and ending and passing. So draw some extra cards with Rotom V. Very nice in the deck. We can't attack once again with this one either because we don't have the energy for it. But we're not looking to take prizes. We're decking out our opponent. As I said, 3 basic water energy. I'm pretty sure that's up from the previous build. Let's get into the trainers. Playing 2 Hisuian Heavy Ball. I'm pretty sure before I was playing 1, you should be familiar with this card. You look at your face down prize cards, reveal a basic Pokemon you find there, and put it into your hand. And then put the Hisuian Heavy Ball in its replace it in the prize cards, and then you shuffle your face down prize cards so you don't know where they are. But basic comes out, Hisuian Heavy Ball comes in. We need a bunch of these basic Pokemon in the game. So I think a second Hisuian Heavy Ball will help us out. Both we might need 2 cards, and also we'll hit it sooner, which is also very important too. 2 Switch Carts. We just play basic Pokemon, so Switch Carts better than Switch. 4 Misfortune Sister, important in this deck for sure. Look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. Discard any number of item cards you find there. Your opponent shuffles the other cards back into their deck, so we're gusting them up a lot. They want to, and they can't retreat, so they need switch cards, switch cart, different rope, things like that. So if we get rid of the items, which are the main switching cards in decks, then boom, they cannot get out of that stall situation. So Misfortune Sisters, I think I might have missaid it. Very, very important card. For Pokégear, we don't have an engine. We do have the Rotom V to draw, and then Pokégear, you look at the top 7 cards, you can put a supporter you find there into hand. So that's kind of, Pokégear is kind of the engine. We're just working with whatever pieces we got. Key pieces like Misfortune Sisters or Boss, we play 4 copies of. 2 Forest Seal Stone, obviously, a really nice tool. You can attach it to one of your V Pokemon, and then Star Alchemy lets you search your deck for any 1 card during your turn. So might be Boss, might be Misfortune Sister, it all depends. Have access to whatever 1 card we want once in the game. So save it for the right turn, wait as long as you can, and then boom, get the card and help make that turn productive. 3 Penny, a very important card in this deck. You put one of your basic Pokemon and all attached cards into your hand. It's the way to get those multi-prize basic into our hand. So Penny, very, very important in this deck. 1 Echoing Horn, right? The opponent discards a basic because they know they don't want to play it to avoid getting the wrong Pokemon in the active. Well, Echoing Horn, boom, toss it back into play. A lot of decks play Radiant Greninja as an engine piece, but don't play Water Energy. You know what you want to do? Get that Radiant Greninja in the active. It's a nice, you feel good about it. 1 Irida, it does let us get our 1 Battle VIP Pass, search for a water Pokemon. We have some water Pokemon, and search for an item, put them into your hand, shuffle your deck, so quite nice there. 1 Cyllene, which is another way to make a deck infinite, but Pidgeot V is what we're doing here. But we want to recover some of the cards that we're using, like Boss, Catcher, things like that. Flip 2 coins for the number of heads you flip. Put 1 card from your discard pile on top of your deck, and if you hit 2 heads, you get to choose the order of the 2 cards. So, get some cards back that you want to reuse to make your opponent's life difficult. For Pokemon Catcher, flip a coin of heads, you switch your opponent's bench Pokemon. One of their benched with the active, so it's like Boss, but it's an item, so therefore it's on a coin flip. So we have 4 of those. You'll hit, you'll average 2 extra gusts, 2 extra quote bosses each game. So 4 bosses, 2 catchers, and of course we may recover something with Cyllene, so making life difficult on our opponent. 2 Pal Pads, get up to 2 supporters from the discard pile into your deck. Very useful there. Get back Boss, Misfortune Sister, something like that. 4 Nest Balls, we need to get those basics in play. All we play is basics, so Nest Ball makes life really nice. 3 Temple of Sinnoh. Obviously, there's not a ton of special energy decks, but there obviously are a number of special energy decks. If you Temple of Sinnoh shuts down special energy, so it just provides 1 colorless. So this really is a strong counter against a number of decks out there. It's good to have. I might have even bumped that up from 2 to 3. I don't remember. 1 Battle VIP Pass, right? Only useful on turn 1, but put 2 basic Pokemon onto your bench. 2 Bravery Charm, right? Your basic Pokemon get plus 50 HP, just making it so our Pokemon aren't getting 1 shot. Very useful there. 4 Boss's Order, right? Stall deck, we want to control the Pokemon that's stuck there in the active. Boss is key to that. 1 Klara, put up to 2 Pokemon and or 2 basic energy from the discard pile into your hand. Get back those Snorlax and of course energy with it as well. 1 Peonia, put 3 of the prize cards into your hand, and then for each prize card you put in your hand that way, put them back into your deck. And this one, you get to put them back where you want, so you know where they are, and we can recover Peonia with either Pal Pad or Cyllene if we want to look at the other 3 cards. So it's a way to get not just the basic Pokemon, which we get with the Heavy Ball, but any cards we think we need, stadiums, whatever, from the prizes, Peonia gives us access there. To Arven, search your deck for an item and a tool card. Useful here, we have some nice tools, so this is the way to get them into hand as well as an item. And then for Cross Switcher, some more gusting, right? We switch our opponents, then we switch ours. So, 2 more bosses in effect, right? Guzma, but, would be what it is, but that's out of format. So essentially, it's another boss. So you have 4 bosses. You can pull off 2 cross switches in the game, and if you average 50% of your coin toss, 2 more, so that's 8 gusts over the course of the game. With the Snorlax and the active, yes, your opponent can play switch or rope to get out of it, and yes, your opponent can boss up something else beside a Snorlax, but eventually they can only do that so many times, right? We're meant to be infinite, our opponents aren't, so we can run them out of resources as we just keep hitting them, making their life difficult. So let's see what we can do. Hopefully, can show off the deck. All right, so opponent's calling the coin toss here. I probably want to go first just because your opponent wants to go first, so you want to take away that advantage to him if we get the choice. We lost. But hey, we're not attacking, we're not evolving, we just Snorlax and active. We're less likely to have a boss on turn 1, but just making it so our opponent can't play the game. So our opponent's going to see Misfortune Sister, that they should know we have a stall deck. Now they benched a Pokemon. You really should never bench a Pokemon, especially here. Because if this is they might have benched a Pokemon that they don't want stuck in the active. I'm hoping so. Certainly hoping so. They get some extra cards, though, so that means they can get things going turn 1 better. So, yep, they benched a Mareep, and they probably wish they hadn't now because I'm looking at a boss, which they can't get rid of, and I'm going to gust up the Mareep, and I hope I don't get knocked out. All right, now I don't have... I think I'm going to play the boss. I'm pretty sure that's what I do. Would have loved to play, obviously, Misfortune Sisters as well to get rid of any switching cards because they're going to attach and they may knock me out next turn, right? They need to get a 3rd energy into play, right? It's 60 per, 60, 120. So this one, if I do get, so this isn't good, but I think this is the play here. Just gust up a Mareep and turn. If they can get a 3rd energy and play at a switch card, I lose. It's that easy. They can't retreat. So, but they need a switch card and they need an energy to make it happen. There's a good chance they can't. I will next turn. I could have played Arven. And got some more Pokemon in play. All right. So if they hit into me but don't knock me out, then I will play Arven. If they win the game, well, then it's game over. And then I guess I should have used Arven to get Battle VIP Pass. But I was, I guess I was greedy. So they have game now, right? So 6 times 3, 180. So I'm going to concede. Just didn't happen. I took a chance. Maybe I was too greedy there. I felt like I had a decent chance of pulling off. It was that switch card. That was the key thing for them, right? They had to hit the switch card. They did, and they got things going. So we'll see what we can get going in another game. Hopefully we set up better, and hopefully I make a better choice. Was I wrong? Was I too greedy? Or was that the right play? I'm not certain. You can let me know in the comments below if you think I misplayed. All right, so calling the coin toss again. I will go first if I can. Lost the coin toss, so probably going second. Since I was aggressive last game and it came back and bit me, I'll probably be more conservative this game at the start. But you don't want to overreact to things going the wrong way for you too, because that is a way that you get in trouble. All right, so Manaphy. Which is okay. Right now, I mean, I probably attack with Manaphy this turn, don't I? I probably do. All right, so it's a Charizard EX deck with Arceus, Radiant Charizard, and the opponent scoops. Well, that they were just scared of the mighty Manaphy. Yeah, 2 energies, which I could do. I would do 80 damage with weakness. Look out. No, they probably didn't want to play Stall, I suppose. So 1-1 at this point in this video, assuming I leave those games in. We'll need to get a game where things actually happen. So hopefully I have a good game coming up that I can show off the deck. All right, so opponent's calling the toss. This coin's familiar, so now I'm wondering if this is the opponent I played earlier with the Miraidon EX deck. I'm not certain. I didn't remember their username. This could be it, though. All right, I think they lost the coin toss. All right, so I will go first. Going second is almost as good as first with this deck. In some ways, it can be better, but take away the advantage of my opponent, right? My opponent wants to get things going. All right, so catcher. Okay, this is not the Miraidon deck from before, which is good. Okay, Penny with an alternate art. So I think I want a Rotom V and see some cards. Yeah, I think I got a Rotom V. And don't play Pokégear because I can't play. Do I want to? They might memories. Do I want to attach energy to Manaphy? That's partly what I'm wondering. This is going to be a tricky matchup, I think. I will attach, and I'll Rotom. I partly by, they may memory skip me, which I don't love. I could attack a second energy and attack too. It does 40, and I do 2-shot them. Oh, it's a Zoroark deck. All right, so okay, so Curly Engine to set things up. So they're probably playing some sort of a counter deck. I am playing a Stall deck. It's going to be so these Ralts might not be able to attack, right? They might not play the Psychic Energy. I don't know. They play Luminous, so they're going to retreat, get the Cleffa up. Now, all right, that's okay though. Cleffa, right? He can't hurt me. So I kind of like Cleffa here. I like Cleffa. All right, so I want to, let's see. I can grab, I want to get, Boss is good too. So I'll grab the Boss. I guess what I really want though is, I think I want to stall him at this point. So, oh, no. So I'm going to, okay, start Alchemy. I'm probably just going to hard retreat. Yeah. I wouldn't mind the Misfortune Sisters, though, either, would I? So I think I will see if I can Irida. I don't really want that one. I guess I do want to get another. This will let me get, so I'll grab Crabominable. I don't know that I'm going to play him. What's the Snorlax situation? They're 3, so they're not prized. So, yeah. So I will get another Snorlax onto the bench, so if they can't rope me out of Snorlax, right? That's the thought there. So I don't reason to attack. I want to get the Cleffa stuck. That's the goal here. Get the Cleffa stuck. I could play Temple of Sinnoh. I think I'll wait on that though, because that Temple, right? They play Luminous Energy. We know that now. So shutting that down is good. I assume they have bumps to the stadium, so getting the stadium down at a more timely point in the game is what I want to do. Look, they're not going to win the game this turn, right? So, okay, Artisan's not bad because I can get down to Snorlax and then I can bump it with my Sinnoh. So I'm glad I waited on the Temple of Sinnoh. They would have just bumped it anyway. Are they going to... So getting some of their stage ones in the discard pile. So they have... So they'll one-shot me with him, with the Hisuian Arcanine, but for 2 energies, it does, yeah, 160. So, and I'm at 80. The first attack just does 50, so that's 100. So it doesn't knock me out with the first attack. So getting the engine going, I like that. So we'll see what happens. They have to dig through their deck some, right? So we'll see what happens. I have a couple boss across, 1 Cross Switcher, 1 Pokemon Catcher. So these are nice, thick pieces I have in hand. I think at this point, okay, so they are Arizu, which makes a lot of sense. 3 evolution Pokemon without rule boxes, right? They'll get some Curlias. You know, they're going to dig for their Switch cards, and that's okay. If they get out of the active, I want to play the boss. I want to... Actually, I might play Pokemon Catcher first, so I give them the option of Penny, right? So they haven't gotten rid of any... Okay, they played a Switch card, so that's really nice. They burned a Switch. I'm not sure... I'm trying to remember when or where they burned the Switch, right? I think they hard retreated the Luminous Energy, which that's good too, because they only play 4 of them, so they got rid of the Luminous Energy. So with Cleffa withdrawing too, they do get closer to decking out. Okay, so I don't need to do any gusting. They have the Pokemon in the active that I want, so I like that. Toss him down, play Penny. Thank you very much. I think I want to attach an energy here to Manaphy. Do I? Maybe I don't. I might want to Crabominable at some point too. That gets a little risky, so I will. Oh, I want to bump their stadium. That's what I want to do. Bump their stadium, end turn. So now they can't use Luminous Energy, and depending on the attack, they're probably... I don't know what they play for basic energy. All right, well, they bumped my stadium. I play 2 more, though I play 3, so I still may win the stadium war, right? If they get 4 into play, they win the stadium war. They're gonna need the Luminous Energy, I assume, for their attacks. Let's take a look at what Pokemon they got. Okay. All right. So if I'm dead, but Twilight Inspiration's not going to work because I'm not taking prizes. Ability, so Sizer can do big damage for 1 metal, which will be 1 Luminous Energy. So, because most of my Pokemon have abilities, so I may want to get down the Bravery Charm because that'll stop me from being 1 shot at this point. Because, right, he does 50 per ability. I have 3 with ability, so that's 150, which 1 shots my Snorlax. So Bravery Charm takes me out of range there. So Cleffa, Cleffa's a really neat Pokemon. I haven't played it yet. I need to do that for sure, right? Free attack and free retreat. Draw the F7, of course. It's a stall deck, so they can't retreat the Cleffa. So that's good. Obviously, they could boss the Manaphy up and switch in attack. So I could Penny up my Manaphy. That's an option out there too. But if they're not going to win the game immediately. So I'm not too concerned about things, I gotta say. Right. So I believe I have Pidgeot V in deck. I should take a look. Well, at this point, I really don't want to dig in the deck, do I? So, all right. So they're getting rid of some more cards. Probably. Why would they discard a Switch card? I can't believe that. So maybe they're going to use that to get a boss, but they're not going to get enough bosses to make this game work. In fact, they're going to gust up the Manaphy if they want to retreat, and then they're going to knock out the Manaphy. I mean, unless they honestly, this is a weird case where the best situation would be to boss up the Manaphy, then rope into something else. So they take out a Snorlax, right? Leave the Manaphy on the bench. So I don't know. They should not, I don't know why they discarded that switch card, right? That I don't see as being a good play. So I think I just end turn here. At this point, I'm really chilling. Manaphy's attack isn't really useful because they fill up the bench, which makes sense. They have that Cleffa in play, so I just want to keep that Cleffa in the active. So I will penny away the Manaphy, and maybe I should use Pokégear so I can get rid of that Manaphy, right? Because that's kind of their. Honestly, they're in trouble, right? If you don't know how to handle, I mean, Stall, part of why Stall works is people don't know how to play against it properly. And I think my opponent made a mistake. So if it's new to you, I get it. Obviously, your energies, it's just going to provide one colorless because I'm not going to take prizes. But maybe they just want to get a second energy on it. I'm not certain about that. And if I can, I will get Temple of Sinnoh back down as well. So I have two boss. I have Catcher. I could toss down the Pidgeot V at some point. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm not sure if it's there. So the way to make sure Pidgeot V's there would be a Nest Ball, put it on the bench, and then put it back in the deck. Although, they played Path down, so my Pidgeot V will not go back in the deck, right? Unless they bump Path. So that's something to keep in mind, too. So they play Path, and then what was the other stadium they played? They played Artisan. So I don't know how many Path they play. So they may be going to Iona. They are. Okay. Which is fine. If they're going to try to win, we'll see what happens. They're doing things. It's fine. So Misfortune Sisters is nice. Get rid of some more items, hopefully. Pull the boss, too. So this is a really nice hand. Have the Temple of Sinnoh so I can negate their special energy. But at this point, they're just using it as one colorless energy. So I actually don't want to shut down that one. All right, so I think I want to get rid of items if I can. So just one. Okay. That's all right. So just shortening the game there and just ending turn. Don't play Temple of Sinnoh because their special energy is just providing one colorless energy anyway, so it doesn't help with that. And when they change Zoroark out, they discard all attached cards. So if they switch the Zoroark into another attacker, which they could do, so I didn't get rid of the Manaphy, so they can retreat now. They can't attack though, right? So I don't know. So I could boss. I think I want a penny. I think I want to get the Manaphy out of play though, right? I think is the play. So they're switching. They're losing their energy though. So that's rough, right? They should. I don't know if they understood what was going to happen, right? So they will one shot me. So that's perfectly fine. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to, well, they're knocking me out, right? So that's okay. And so I'm going to boss and, wow. Okay, so all right, interesting. That's interesting. So I'm going to get rid of my Manaphy. They could have knocked me out. I don't quite understand why they didn't knock me out. All right, so there we go. I'll send you up. I tell you what, I'll just fill my bench with Snorlax. And I could Gust too, right? Because he can't attack unless they bump the stadium. If they knock me out, it's okay, right? If they knock me out. So I'm going to say, okay, you know what? I shouldn't have sent up. I now realize I shouldn't have sent up the Snorlax with the Bravery Charm, or I shouldn't have played the fourth Snorlax. They bumped the stadium. They do one-shot me now, so that's not great. And if I get, might have made a mistake here. We'll see what happens. I want to Misfortune Sisters this next turn probably, and I probably want a Pokemon Catcher because I'd like to get that Cleffa back into the active. I might boss them up the Cleffa, right? Because the Cleffa can't damage me. Its attack doesn't do any damage, right? They can draw with the attack, which is fine, but so there we go. My opponent scoops because they didn't have a way out of it. They did discard switch cards, which you don't do that up against a stall deck. So, so a pretty straightforward deck. I think the changes I made to the list are better. There are some Snorlax Stall decks in some events. Not a ton, but there are out there, and they're having some success. So don't be afraid to give this deck a try. It's a lot of fun, making it life difficult on your opponent. Has its own joy. So, look, it's effective. It works. My opponent was trying to figure out what to do, but they couldn't quite. But they made some misplays early on, got themselves in a bind, and that's one way to win. But even if they kept those switch cards, it's a single prize deck. But I get Penny getting rid of the multi-prizers. It's really tough to take 6 prizes up against this deck. So strong deck. Give it a try. You should like it, and you'll probably have some success. Take care.